Hello, we're back. It's this must be part 4, I think, of making the mill, turning the tree in. And as you saw, part 3, this is where we've got a top cut done. Now, here comes the confessions part. I got it wrong. I got it only a little bit, but on the mill, you can see, get it on there, balance. I took this measurement from here to here. So the outside of these poles, not these poles, to be my outside measurement. And if this tin is ruining my recording, I'll have to dub this. So therefore, when I actually came to clamp my saw into it yesterday, it was too far apart. And I had to go to the workshop, had to cut these joints here, had to cut 2 inches off these pipe, and then weld it all back together. You didn't see that in part 3 because I covered it up quite well. But yeah, mistakes were made, but they were rectified all on the same day and we sorted it out. So that was one thing that happened. Another thing I found out, where this would normally have teeth here. I think they're called dog something, I don't know what they're called, but there's spikes. I had to take them off as well because I, once again, just didn't have enough room. I'm trying to maximise my size of cut here. So, yeah, that's what went wrong yesterday. Also, another thing, I haven't got a solid nose bar. I've got a bar with a sprocket in the end of it. I don't know if you can see, possibly. I very much doubt it. You see these pins here? They're holding in a runner sprocket in the middle there, which is obviously spinning around, and in certain applications will help the saw. But in this application where I'm trying to clamp it, I'm having to clamp this very lightly so the sprocket can still turn, but obviously clamping it tight enough so that this bar doesn't go into this metal bolt over here. And you can see it did start running into my bit of wood, and I wasn't far away from doing some damage. That was early on. It doesn't seem to be as bad since, you know, when I was further down the cut. I've got some double-sided tape, which I'm hoping will just be enough to give it some adhesion so I can still lightly clamp it and that'll still work. Other than that, it went really well, it went really flat. This is obviously the cut. It is dead flat. I'm so happy with how flat it is. Just see, this here, this first step, is where I started running in and the front bar was starting to jam up, so I came back out and I hadn't wedged it. So obviously my second cut was slightly lower, so that's where that first step is, but the rest of it is lovely along there. It all looks sound. I mean, there's little bits here, but these are still on the outside of the wood. This is still very close to where the bark was. Look, it's all pretty good. That's a knot here. When we were cutting it, this knot obviously came towards the front of the tree out here, and on the outside there was loads of woodworms in there. So I might have accidentally wounded some woodworms. I do feel bad about that, but I didn't know they were in there. It might have even been that one. It was that one on the side. And there was loads of them crawling around in there. This is obviously where I had to thin it down. I'm going to have to thin it down some more when I come to here, but that allowed me to do my first pass, and I was a bit too excited to do it all properly first time. This is the chunk that came off. And like I also said, I mean, I could plane that up and have that as a bit of art on the wall. I mean, that's just beautiful. You turn it, I could even turn it into a bed head or anything like that. I could burn it. That is beautiful to me. It really is. This bit over here is not flat, but still, just look at this. It's just such a lump of oak. Oh, beautiful. So the plan is, and this is where I'm slightly torn, because in college I was taught there's lots of ways to convert timber, as far as I'm aware, but the two most common ones are through and through conversion, which I'll show you on the end of the bit of wood here. The easiest way to convert a bit of wood is through and through conversion. So it would be essentially another plank here, and then another plank, and just keep working your way through the log in lines like that, all the way through. Which is the easiest way, and it probably is the way I'm going to do it, because the rest of the other way is just hassle. But supposedly the best way to convert wood, or a considerably better way to convert wood, is a thing called quarter sawn, so they'd come through here to start with. Take a couple of planks out like that, and as soon as the grain, so if we've got a log here, a bit of wood here, the grain is coming across, and that's what we're looking for. We don't want the grain here, for example, where the grain's coming round, and if we've got our plank along here, it's just asking to cup, because the grain wants to flatten out, as it, because it's been growing like that, been held like that by the tree, and now it's been cut away, it wants to flatten, and that will leave this top edge cupping. Well, it's called cupping. It's when it goes from flat like that across the grain, not along the bit of wood. That's bow and other things, but we're trying to avoid cupping. But to do quarter sawn, I've got to cut this. Now I've got a flat edge. I've got to cut this through the middle here, and then I've got to try and get a flat edge on here. So that's resetting up all the ladder and everything like that, holding this bloody great bit of wood in the right place. And then I've got to keep changing it alternate times. So I do a cut there, and then I do a cut there, and then I do a cut there, and then I do a cut here, until it gets smaller and smaller into the corner, which you get the nicest grain and you get the least amount of cuppage from it. But the work involved, especially with the machinery I've got, I haven't got a clamp to hold it or anything. I haven't got big hydraulic rollers. I'm going to have to do through and through, I think. So yeah, I hope that explains a little bit for that. I'm going to cut it into 2.5-inch planks. Now that allows, because I've got about, I don't know, just over 1/4 inch cut on my chainsaw, so a kerf, the amount it takes out is about 1/4 inch. So if I did want to turn these into inch planks, I've still got the wood to waste. You know what I mean? I'll have 2.5, and I'll lose the 1/4 in the middle where I cut, but I'll still have over 1 inch to plane up and get the right size bits of wood. I'm going to go all the way through. Supposedly wood takes a year, 1 inch to season per side. So a 2-inch slab will season 1 inch in a year this way and 1 inch in a year that way. So 1 year will season a 2-inch plank, supposedly. This is something I heard from another YouTuber. I've never been told any different, so I don't know, but that's what I'm told. So essentially, if I cut this up now into my 2-inch planks, I stack it, with spaces and get it all nice and somewhere in the dry. Next January or next February, it'll be ready to turn into whatever I need to use it for. This has been dead for a long time, so it's already done a lot of its seasoning. It won't need that long, but I'm going to give it that long anyway because, I've got a house to build. I've got plenty of other things to be doing than messing about with this. So yeah, you get this. The rest of this episode will be me, hopefully milling this down. I'm going to have to sharpen the chain after this pass, I think, because it is, taking a hammering. It's not a milling chain, it's not a ripping chain, it's just a normal chain. When I resharpen it, I'll sharpen it with less of an angle on the teeth, which is supposedly what you're meant to do. And that should help, but I need to invest in a ripping chain, really. I think it's only going to be about 50 or 60 quid, but it's meant to make a much cleaner cut. But I can't invest in one of them today because, as you all know, I work on the weekends and a lot of places aren't open by the time I'm going to get there on a weekend. Yeah, I hope I haven't got to dub too much of this, because the barn just is clanging around and making so much noise. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy me watching plank up the rest of this. We're going to have a serious rethink about this, because this, I haven't hit it yet. I've had bits of wood in there and it's always been safe. But that's slipping and sliding around there loads, even with the self-adhesive things, because well, look at it, it's shot all the way over that side. I don't know what to do. I can't drill a hole through my bar here, because that's where my sprocket's running, because obviously I'll be going through the sprocket and that's not possible. If it's further back, I'd quite happily drill a hole through it, but I can't where it is. Metal on metal, I don't think it's going to grip it any better. It's either I go and get some good old, some CT1, and even that's going to get too hot. I don't know. Let me have a think about this, and then we'll get back to it. Hey guys, you may have noticed in the last, 10 minutes or so of me cutting this log, we had a power cut. So it's good that we didn't have an electric chainsaw to start with, but we've brought in the emergency backup of the van and got some headlights on here for the moment. I'm gonna have to just sit down and sharpen my chainsaw with my head torch. Well, obviously I'll sharpen it with a file, but under the light of my head torch, and hopefully the power will come back on later and I'll be able to see and make some more footage. But we've done one slab. Woohoo! And I shall show you the cut in a second. Okay guys, it's getting late and it's Sunday, so I've got to stop. But I've got 2 planks done today, involving a lot of messing about with the bar and sharpening of chains and things. Look at them. It's a full 2.5 inches thick. 3 meters long, 10 foot, to all you imperial people. You can get a 19-inch plank right the way down the middle of that one. 20 in that one. So you can easily get 2 10s. The size of them, look. That's my foot. I've got size 11 feet, UK. Oh, there's just so much. And look, I reckon I've probably nearly got enough for me stairs out of them. I won't be using them because I want to use these nice next few ones. But I'm not even a quarter of the way through the tree. Well, no, I probably am. I'm nearly a third, I suppose. The heart of the tree is just below where that's sticking out, just there. And these are going to be the good ones. These ones right here, on either side of that. They're the ones we're looking for the strings. But look how well it's coming up. Look at the finish. That's a chainsaw. I mean, there's a few little ripples, but that's maybe a 2mm defect or something like that. So you've got a little bit of... That is rotting there. Oh, I hope that doesn't go too deep. But little bits of it, but it's nothing. It's definitely not falling apart. That's not coming in from the side over here. Oh, those ones, they're even better for rot, I suppose. But there is sawdust everywhere. And I mean a good couple of 3 inches of sawdust on the floor. All over my tools, all over the cameras. But she's doing so well. I've been running over the ladder every time, so I'm giving myself a new fresh edge to go on. Instead of running on the wood, which I could do, I don't want it to come along and go for-thunk and then mangle the end of it and just make a mess. So running the ladder means I can run off the end, and it's a new flat one every time. So, you know, I don't go and emphasise bellies or anything like that, where, you know, running over the wood I could be doing that. So yeah, I am incredibly happy with this. It's working, well, exactly how I was hoping it would, but it really does that for me. And oh, I didn't say, you know, earlier we had the problem with the blade slipping in here, the bar. What I've inserted in there is a couple of bits of tractor inner tube, just there on the bottom. So it's still being clamped very lightly, but that hasn't budged since, and that's going really well. I'll put another bit on the top at the back there, just in case. Floors, this here, these screws in here keep coming loose for some reason, so I've tightened them right up. I might put some Loctite on them if I find the time another day. And the exhaust is blowing off the bottom there straight into the wood. Well, the exhaust is down there, but it's just blowing straight into the wood and into my face, so there are quite a few fumes going on. So I don't really know what I can do about that apart from keep the doors open. But yeah, this is just fantastic. It's an 86cc engine, so it is drinking fuel. It's 264, and it is also drinking the chain oil, because I assume just because there's so much chain to lubricate. But I had to rip down the sides a bit more. I don't know how much you guys care about this, but I'm getting far too excited. Really, I really am. Oh, it's brilliant. They're worth quite a lot of money, them. For that size oak, nearly 2 foot across the middle, 10 foot long, 2.5 inches thick. Whew. That saw's paid for itself days ago. I'm happy. So yeah, I'm going to try and turn this into something entertaining. Shouldn't be too hard. We did have a power cut and I lost a lot of stuff, but it's all going forward and we're making so much progress on this. I'm so happy. So yeah, I'll see you all soon. Bye.